Hi everyone, welcome to Vegan Vitality. Today we're going to make spicy Thai noodles by Paul Jarvis from the Chris Carr website, and I'll put a link in the comments. So the first thing we're going to do is cut up our veggies. So I am using carrots, so we're going to start with the carrots. I've already peeled them. And the thinner you slice them, the faster they cook. So instead of big chunks, I'm going to make them a little bit more fine. And if you don't like carrots, you can omit carrots and maybe use broccoli or another vegetable that you like. We love the color, the orange, the beta carotene found in carrots. That's the great thing about plant-based foods. They have so much color, all kinds of color, compared to meat, dairy, and eggs, which really have no color. So you get all those phytonutrients. Okay. And then we're going to do some red pepper. And if you like a different pepper, you could do a different color pepper. I'm going to do about another half. Peppers are great just raw as a snack, like carrot sticks. So I love eating these with lunch also, just as a side. Just to give you some ideas of how you can get more plant-based food and color into your diet. And especially raw. So they're filled with fiber. Good to clear out our colon and help prevent heart disease. Okay. So, and you can make them a little finer. I think I'll just do that much for now. And then I'm going to add lots of kale. And as you probably know if you have been cooking, when you use kale, it really cooks down so much. So you want to make sure that you use a lot. So we're going to cut up some kale. You know what, I'm going to transfer my carrots, because we're going to take this over to the stove and saute that here in a minute. Welcome to my small beach kitchen, which is very limited on counter space. Okay, there we go, but we'll improvise here. So this is going to get sauteed, so I'm not going to massage it like I would for a salad, and then I'm going to chop it fine. And you could actually even add more than this, because once it cooks down, it just cooks down to hardly anything. So I might add some more here. And if you don't like kale, you could omit it or use a different green. Okay, so the idea is to get a lot of color in it, so it's just not a bowl of white pasta, right? Okay. So those are going to be my veggies of choice. Carrots, red peppers, kale, and I've also been cooking some peas on the stove, so it's great to add some more green and some peas and protein to the dish. So come on over to the stove. We're going to saute this, and I just saute my veggies in water. I don't use oil when I don't have to. Sometimes I use olive oil, but when I don't need it, I just use water. The recipe calls for grapeseed oil, so that's up to you. So I'm going to start with the carrots and the peppers, because they take a little longer to cook, and I'm going to add in a 1/3 cup of chopped white onion. Actually, I mean, you could really increase the amount of veggies. And you could also add some tofu. You could broil tofu on the top rack of your oven for 10 minutes in little strips like these peppers are. And you could add some tofu. We had tofu for lunch, so I'm just going to skip it for tonight and focus on having some more veggies. So let's turn that back up. Whoops, excuse me. And we will let that saute while we go make our sauce. Yeah. Okay. Alright, so let's go back over here. So this is a cashew-based sauce. I've been soaking a 1/3 cup of raw cashews, so not salted and cooked, just raw cashews. I get them organic from Costco. That's going to be the basic ingredient of our sauce. Okay, and then we're going to add 2/3 cup filtered water. and a teaspoon of minced garlic. And then tamari, which is basically a gluten-free soy sauce. And it calls for 4 tablespoons of tamari. And I just get this at Ralph's, which is a Kroger store. My favorite Simple Truth organic brand. Okay. Simple Truth organic line is great. It helps make eating organic cheaper and vegan cheaper. Alright. Okay. Then it calls for 2 tablespoons of white miso. If you've never used miso, this is non-GMO miso. You can find it in the produce section of just, again, your local grocery store. It doesn't have to be a health food store. Most foods can be found just now at your regular local store. It doesn't always have to be some specialty item at the grocery store. So 2 tablespoons of miso, which will give it a lot of flavor. I'll buy a new one. And then we're going to add in a tablespoon of fresh ginger. So I've got this little knob of ginger that I peeled. Just going to cut it up a little bit, even though it's going in the food processor. Ginger is good for your digestion. Okay. We're going to do a heaping tablespoon. Alright, then it does call for 1 to 4 Thai peppers, which I'm sure are amazing, but I am going to omit them just for us. I'm a little sensitive to spice, which isn't always fun, but this still has a ton of flavor without it, but feel free to add. I would start with 1 Thai pepper just to be safe and see how it goes. Now there is going to be some cilantro if you like cilantro, but we're going to omit that while we're blending. So we're going to use our Vitamix here. Yummy sauce, and then we're going to add some cilantro to it. You want to hold a little cilantro back for garnish. Whoops! And if you don't like cilantro, you just can omit it. I love cilantro, and it gives this sauce even more flavor, especially since I'm not using the Thai pepper. All right, come back to the stove with me. Let's see how our veggies are doing on their own over here. Hopefully they're okay, yeah. And I should have added even more peppers and carrots. So it's up to you, depending how many servings you're gonna make. And I'm gonna add in the kale. Kale cooks fairly quickly, so that's why I'm adding that towards the end. I'm going to put the lid on that, and then I'm going to show you a couple of things that I've been cooking. First of all, I use these Taste of Thai rice noodles, and this just comes from a Kroger store, Ralph's. Very easy to find in the Asian section, and I'll show you that. I cooked those for 4 to 6 minutes. Make sure you don't overcook any rice noodle, which I do, unfortunately, a lot. They turn to mush. So I've already made those, and then if you want to come back over here, I've also made some peas. I just pre-cooked 1.5 cups of peas. So we're going to add in those as another form of green and veggies. So we're trying to pack our pasta full of some veggies. Oops, here's a few carrots I forgot. All right, so it's coming along here. Now we're going to add our sauce, and then we're going to add our noodles, and we'll be done. So it's really a fairly easy recipe. Soak your cashews ahead of time, and you can prepare your noodles and your peas like I did. Okay. And the sauce is very, very tasty. Okay, so we're going to hold on to that. And now we are going to add our noodles into the pot. Okay, I'm just going to use my hands. It's a little easier. Okay. So, and they've stuck together because I cooked them in advance, so I didn't have to sit here and watch my noodles cook. Alright, so I'm going to just try to get them in here, mix them in with the sauce. Then you can add a little water to your noodles before you put them in the pot. I had drained them so they got a little sticky. You can also add a few nuts on top if you want some little raw cashews on top with some extra garnish of cilantro. So it's a great savory dinner dish from the Chris Carr website. Chris is an amazing wellness coach who has been living with cancer and managing it on a plant-based diet for over 15 years. So she has a lot of wisdom and amazing tips on her site. So I'll be sure and put a link. So that is it. Spicy Thai pasta. So thank you so much for joining me. And as always, thank you for saving animals with your food choices. Have a great week.